Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders won his state's Democratic primary last night, but he will run as an independent for re-election in November. He is with us. Good morning, Senator.
Good to be with you, John.
Will you, what do you think about this history in the gubernatorial race? Christine Hellquist, the first transgender
Well, I think it says that in Vermont, we look at the ideas that people have, not their sexual orientation. And I hope that that concept is spreading all over the country, and I think it is, and I think it's a good thing.
Tell me about the Democratic Party right now, the ideas that are winning the day. Some of your candidates have won, some of them have lost. What's happening in the Democratic Party?
I think two things are happening, John. Number one, the ideas that we have been fighting for, ideas that I think make sense to the needs of working families, I think those ideas are spreading all over the country and have more and more support. If you look at the issues like Medicare for all, should we end the embarrassment of being the only major country on earth not to guarantee health care to all people? Poll after poll says, yeah, we should move in that direction. Should we give tax breaks to billionaires, which is what Trump wants, or demand that the wealthy and large corporations start paying their fair share of taxes? That is what the American people want. Should we move toward raising the minimum wage? Now a starvation wage of $7.25 an hour to $15 an hour. That's what the American people want. So what I'm seeing, John, is all across this country, people are saying we want a government that represents all of us, not just the billionaire class and wealthy campaign contributors.
Tell me about the Democratic Party and how they balance these two things. They've got to win in 2018 in districts where the idea of Medicare for all and the cost of that is a little too much for maybe the voters in those suburban swing districts. The idea of free college, they hear the numbers racking up in terms of the federal deficit. On the other hand, you talk about this energy inside the Democratic Party. So how does the Democratic Party balance those two things?
Well, I think what is happening is there is a whole lot of energy. And I think what you're seeing all across this country is not only progressives winning and losing occasionally, but what you are seeing is people running for office for the first time. You're seeing women, people of color, young people getting involved in politics in, frankly, a way that we have not seen for a long, long time. I think that's good for America. I think that's good for the Democratic Party. 4 years ago, let me say this, in the midterm elections, we had the lowest voter turnout in 70 years. What the Democrats got to do is excite people, get young people, working people to the polls. If they do that, I think we're going to do just fine.
Well, we recently, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to ask you about leadership, because one target for the Republicans and for the president, obviously, is Nancy Pelosi. Even some Democrats say that she needs to go. Her response is, they come after me because I'm effective. Is she an effective leader? Yeah,
I think Nancy has done a good job. Let me say what she may not say. I think it's also the fact that she's a woman. I think they have demonized her. The Republican Party is bankrupt intellectually. They are not going to campaign on their views of giving tax breaks to billionaires and cutting Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. So they have to come up with some demon. I guess their demon now is Nancy Pelosi.
Well, we recently talk about leadership. We recently asked a panel of millennials, which you are very popular with the millennials, who they think is a Democratic leader, who is a party leader, and they couldn't come up with an answer. Does that concern you or surprise you?
No, it doesn't concern me. Look, I think at the end of the day, we are 50 states in this country. And what gratifies me very, very much as somebody who's gone around this country, who's been to state after state trying to see that we can elect progressive Democrats, is I am seeing an energy level that I have not seen before. So I'm less worried about people on top than I am about seeing young people and working people get involved. And that is happening, Gayle.
Let me ask you a quick question about those young people. Democratic socialism is appealing to some of them who are also might be interested in the Democratic Party. The idea of socialism versus capitalism, does that conversation need to be more in the present, in the forefront?
I think media makes a bigger deal of it than it should. Look at the issues. Should every American have health care as a right at a time when we spend twice as much per capita on health care as any other country, have the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs, and 30 million people have no health insurance? That is a disastrous system. Of course we need to move to Medicare for all. Should, at a time we're in a competitive global economy, we make public colleges and universities tuition free? The answer is yes. Look at the issues out there. But I will also say this, John. I think that there is growing resentment, not only among young people, who in many cases are going to have a lower standard of living than their parents. I think that there is an understanding there is something fundamentally immoral and wrong about a nation in which we have 3 people who own more wealth than the bottom half of the American people. That does not make sense.
And of course, the response from many is, we like the ideas. How do we pay for them? This conversation, of course, will continue, but we've run out of time, Senator. Thank you for joining us.